Seagulls, optimistic. Seagulls, we are on the back of 7th, knocked out in the semi last year. Coach Anthony Seibold, obviously Daly, Cherry, Evans in his 753rd game will continue to captain the side. In terms of a draw, they've got 10 against the top 8 from last year, 6 against top 4. They play the Raiders, Sharks, Storm, Cowboys, Eels, Dragons, Warriors, Tigers twice. What did your draw analysis provide?
Ooh, good question. Yeah, one of the softer draws in the competition. Got a really good last 4 or 5 weeks of the comp where even if they're behind that little bit, they could probably put some games away there. First month, nice. Probably win 3 out of those 4. They've got 4 games against the top 4 in the next 6 weeks. So leading into Origin, they really need to bank a couple of those games. Otherwise, it could be a bit of a stretch. Over the Origin period, it's fantastic. They've got one of the best one of the best draws over the Origin period. So even if they do drop a few of those, I can't see them not being competitive for a large part of this year, especially considering the draw that they've got.
In their last month, and a lot changes. Like a year ago, we would have said this, that, and the other, but their last 4 games are the Tigers, Dolphins, Dragons, Warriors. So there's a wet sail to be had if they're playing good football. In terms of transfers, they have picked up Sisusia Takiao, who's finally back in the NRL. My man, I've missed him.
I remember like 3 years ago, he warmed all of our hearts, didn't he?
He did, and then he was going to come back.
Before he went away. Yeah, the year before he went to England, he was fucking killed it.
It was outstanding.
Because I remember he signed the contract for England at the start of the year, and halfway during the season, we're like, can he renege on this? Or like,
can we keep him? He's too good to go over there.
He was Mo Fodawaker before Mo Fodawaker was in my heart. I love Takiao. Anyway, he's back.
What do you mean?
Be like a grey-haired old fellow. What? I do love him.
Good.
I don't disregard my exes. The Jazz Tavunga is also coming. Yeah, I should. Bailey Hodgson's gone. Jamie Humphries. Carl Lawton's gone up north. Brad Parker's retired. We just watched his debut game, actually, on KO.
2 tries.
Jackson Paulo, Schuster, and Aaron Woods is now the breakfast host at Triple M.
With Bo Ryan.
Thank God I don't listen to that. Triple M's never been the same since Tony Martin and Ed Cavalier left. The draw, 10 of the top 8, 6 of the top 4. They play the Raiders, Sharks, Storm, Cowboys, Eels, Dragons, Warriors, and the Tigers twice. They kick off with the Cowboys, and then they head over to Auckland, play the Raiders and Eels. So it's a good start for them as well. What's your draw stats say before I do a top 17?
Didn't we just do the Manly draw?
He did.
Pretty sure we did.
I'm pretty sure he did.
Have I just done it already?
He did it first. He did Manly draw first.
Right, Turbo is fullback. Tommy Talau on the wing. Garrick and Cooler in the centre, Saab on the other wing. But all of these are up for grabs a bit because Lehigh Hopawade is a gun and there's more as well. Brooks and DC, the halves, Paseka and Takiaho starting in the front row. Croker at hooker. Olakuato, I've got Burbo at 12. Could be wrong. Jake at 13. Also could be wrong, but I assume that's where he's going to start. Simpkin, 14. Waddell, Alloway, and Nathan Brown at 17. Anything?
Purely because of the age thing for Taukeiaho.
Might start off the bench.
I think I've got him starting off the bench and Alloway starting.
Yeah,
but that I'm happy to concede either way.
Supercoach,
Tom Trbojevic, top point scorer for the Manly side last year, averaged 89.4. So there's plenty of points coming out of fullbacks. As you said, pick your poison and take your licks. 875k to get him into your team. Ruben Garrick, 680k. Average of 69.5. Goal kicker, I dare say he'll be in a lot of teams. DCE, $647,000 at an average of 66. The top 2 stay the same for the averages with Garrick and Trbojevic, but Olakuatu had the 3rd best average for the Manly side with an average of 68. 660k to get him into your team. Dean Madison, if he gets any time this year, I'd imagine there'd be a lot of people jumping on him at $214,000. He only played a couple of games. He scored a few tries and a bit of back row, bit of centre. Somebody who probably not a bad 14 fit if they need someone in there in that position. Cooler could be well underpriced, in my opinion. You know how much pace he's got if you can get put into enough positions. And I think Manly are going to go well this year. So given the opportunities, he could be well underpriced. Croker, if fit, is huge in Supercoach. He's been downgraded massively because of the amount of injuries he's had last year. Has a huge upside money-wise in Supercoach.
And no Lawton, so we've got, I guess, Gordon Kumtang Chong is lurking. Oh, Jake Simpkins there, sorry. Jake Simpkins there. And
Simpkins not going to get a run. Tavanga, 32 minutes. You would think it would be closer to 50 in this pack. So I think he's probably 200K underpriced. And if he's getting 45 to 50 minutes, then, yeah, there's probably 200K to be made on Tavanga.
He doesn't play.
I am.
How does he not play?
What, Tavanga? Are you saying
Surely
Tavanga doesn't
Tavanga
play?
gets a bench spot.
Okay, Corey Waddell goes
They
out,
haven't
right.
signed
Fucking Waddell.
Sorry, I'll say they haven't signed Just Tavanga to play for Blacktown Workers, but
Just Tavanga would probably play lock.
it depends whether
Does
they want to play
Burbo start
Jake.
back row? Burbo's the other
Probably.
sort of question mark.
Probably.
Oh, I'd pick Tavanga in front of Burbo.
At second row.
Nah.
Uh,
Who have you got at the third? Who have you got in third?
Jake Travojevic.
Fucking prop.
Well, that's
Play
a
Tavanga at 13.
Takiaho, Alloway,
Yep.
Paseka.
Move on.
Simply,
We've talked enough.
we have talked enough.
Manly top
Don't
four.
do the draw again?
Yes, top four.
Top four.
Manly
Manly
top
top
four.
four. I think.
Oh, wow.
And I will quickly explain my reasoning why.
Pull that face to the camera.
They haven't made too many changes to their roster, but they've got. So, obviously,
They did only finish 7th last year, which is anything I'm like, yeah.
the reason I'm putting them there is because they have something that not many other teams do in the competition.
Tom Travojevic?
Other than a couple.
Tom Travojevic.
Other than the two teams above them who
Have
have
blinding
it in
pace, man.
spades.
Fucking pace
So
out the wazoo.
the two teams above Manly have this in spades, but Manly have just enough, and not many other teams have this. They have a gun player in each area of the field. Fullback Tom Travojevic, Cherry Evans, I think, is still a world-class halfback. You've got Alakawatu and
Who's
Jake
the hooker?
Travojevic in the forwards. Croker's just got to pass the ball to Cherry Evans. That's
No, but Kroger has been extremely good.
He can do more than
And
that, but
injury fucked him last
all
year,
he
but-
needs to do is get the ball to Cherry Evans. Jake Simpkin. I'm sure he'll get a run during Origin off the bench.
Who's the feeder club for Manly?
Blacktown
Blacktown,
Workers.
I can go with Shake and play up the road.
I do honestly. I feel like that Manly's roster is well rounded, whereas not many rosters are. You can't point to too many teams in the comp and think they've got a class player at fullback, a class player in the backs, a class player in the forwards. Where with Manly, I think you can, even though they don't have the most depth. Well, not many teams in the comp does, but
Nobody really does.
At least
to be
Manly
honest.
in their starting squad has, as I said, a star at fullback, an absolute star at halfback, and a couple of stars in the forwards as well. And the rest of the squad,
didn't
I think,
mention
is
5'8".
serviceable. Well, honestly, Luke, if we're talking honestly about
He was
Luke
good
Brooks,
last year.
He was fantastic. I thought he was
that's what
gonna
I'm saying. So no,
spoof about him.
I'm not going to spoof about it. I'm trying to actually be genuine here. Luke Brooks is the perfect 5'8" for a Daly Cherry Evans at halfback. He completely takes the pressure off of him. And again, so when I'm talking about Travojevic, Cherry Evans, and your Olakwatus and Jakes in the side as the absolute stars, that benefits the players around them because they don't have duds around them. They have solid first graders who are going to benefit from those players and be able to give their input on the field. Like your Ruben Garrix, for example, out on an edge. I haven't even mentioned him, but I feel like it's going to be hard for Manly to not make the top four this year just because you look at the other sides and not too many other sides have a key star player in pretty much every area of the field. The two teams above them have them in absolute spades, and it's not even close. But Manly have at least got that skeleton there of star players in their squad, and I think that'll be enough for top four.
And actually, to your point earlier, Barn, actually have front row depth.
Yes.
We talked about Sipley, LOA, et cetera, et cetera. Nathan Brown can play if he has to. And then the
If he has to.
well, he also plays lock. No, I'm just saying, like, and then when you look at the back rows, like Lehigh Hopawade is a potential freak. And
Well, their halves combination is fantastic. Like they work well together, as Ollie said. One of the best kicking games going around. One of the best running 5'8s in the competition. They both have pace off the mark. Like Cherry's not going to beat you over more than about 15, 20 metres, but in that first 15, 20 metres, he can put somebody else into a hole or get on the outside.
Or if someone else is through a hole, guess who's going to pop up?
100%.
Daly.
Yeah. They both pretty decent in defence in the halves. Like they've got one of the stronger halves pairing. They've got pace. Like they've got Saab's dead set closest to the fastest bloke in the comp. Garrick's no slouch. Cooler. Weeks. Sorry, he's gone now, but fucking...
rest in peace.
Lehigh's not slow. Like, they've just got pace to burn out wide, so you give them half a chance, they're gone, and you're not catching them. The forwards, there's some questions around some fitness, especially with the rotation. Like, as you mentioned, Sipley, LIA, once they get past that 25, 30-minute mark, they start getting tired. They do miss a few tackles, and then that's up to the coach to make sure that rotation's on point. They've got a very similar team to last year. Like these guys all know each other. They've played pretty much all last year. Massive thing in rugby league. You can keep a team together, combinations. Even camaraderie. You know your mates. You've fucking played with your mates.
Am I able to interrupt quickly here? I think when you're a team as well that was in Manly's position last year and the squad they have now, to your point, it is actually really good to keep what you have and build on that 100%. As much as you can. Don't overhaul the squad like you might want to do with a lower table team. Don't try to add new players to try and go to a new level if you're one of the top teams to try and
pick
change
one or
your
two
player.
positions.
They are in the perfect position to actually just maintain their squad and build on that.
They play different to a lot of teams. They kick early. They shift the ball early.
They shift the ball earlier than they will off a kickoff. They'll throw it through wide and go.
Cherry Evans will try to kick a 40-20 on the second tackle.
Yeah,
and he's
and he'll kick it half the time.
And half the time he'll kick it. You need a field goal. Daly Cherry Evans is going to fucking kick it. And if he doesn't kick it, Garrick or Brooks will have a crack.
Hasn't he kicked more than anyone ever?
Yeah.
Yep.
Like,
or if he's
and especially in extra time, he's like fucking twice anyone in extra time. He's just clutch with the field goals needed. And they play smart footy. They play to their strengths. They play to that pace out wide. They shift the ball early. They kick early. They do things that teams don't expect and change the momentum of games, which not a lot of teams do. They will completely shut out teams at the bottom of the comp. Like, they won't even get close.
They will put 60 on certain teams.
100%. And if Tommy decides he's having a day out, they'll put fucking 40 on good teams. Like,
I do think they need to this year because last year they didn't a lot. But yes, they can and yes, they should. But there wasn't heaps where they did.
They need one or two more motors in the middle for mine to be a top tier threat. At the back end of the comp, like they just need one or two more workers.
Like they didn't need a lot, and simply never got there. Paseka on his days like a freak, but then he has 3 days a year. Whereas that's a nice motor to add.
Yeah. If you could have a bench rotation that could tackle as well as Jake and someone who could be as impactful as a Spencer or something like that coming off the bench, they're probably going to go close to winning the comp. You know what I mean? But for mine, they're that one step under. Injury could fuck everything, but that's the same with every team in the competition. I've got them running fourth, and I think they'll be right there when the whips are cracking at the end of the year.
I agree. I've got them running third. Wow. Nothing else?
I did not think we would all be as equal on our opinions as Manly. I thought I was a bit more bullish.
I think you've done a good job, and I'm coming around to the fact I think Seabold can coach. I think he's got half an idea. Who'd have thought?
Well, have a look at what Brisbane have done to just about every coach that's been there recently.
Exactly. Yeah. Unless you're Wayne Bennett, I reckon in you're that system, you're just getting chewed up and spat out. Madge.
Well, the last three of them all got fucked up.
Well, even Wayne Bennett, they end up chewing up and spitting out in the end when he
they chewed on him for a long time.
And I'm sure
if he went back there now,
cut this off.